Good morning. Ooh. Good morning, everyone. That's a peppermint. If you got some, grab it. Hi, Lindsay. Good morning. Got peppermint in my hands. Take a couple inhales if you want to go find it. I just posted about giving up caffeine, and something that's helped with that is inhaling peppermint in the morning. That shit will wake you up. Feels like it fries everything. It's so energizing. So welcome. I wanted to share. Hey, Nikki. Hi. Been listening to Mickey Singer a lot lately. He's got some amazing, if you're not sure who he is, he's great. He wrote The Untethered Soul and Surrender Experiment. Can you guys hear me? I don't have my headphones on or anything. Can you just give me a thumbs up or something if you can? Good morning. Okay, cool. Oh, my groceries are here. My dog's gonna bark. What a good morning. Okay. Hey, Raghav. Hello. This is typical. It's okay. Hey, go lay down, please. Just bring groceries. Well, this is life. Okay, so I've been listening to Mickey Singer a lot lately. He's the founder of the Temple of the Universe in Gainesville, and I found that he has a bunch of different audibles and like workshops on Audible, and I'm a big fan of that because you can listen while you're driving. And something he said yesterday, well, there's lots of things he says where I just have to like pause it and be like, wow, what an amazing, like easy way to understand the spiritual process. But one gigantic thing that stood out for me, and Raghu, you teach this as well, is that our spiritual life isn't separate from our regular life. And I think that that's a misconception. It's like, oh, I do my like spiritual life here, and then I go do my normal non-spiritual life here. But I think at some point we realize that they are the same thing. And if we see it like that, we have ample opportunity to progress and evolve through our life. Babe, could you not? I'm trying to focus. I don't have anyone to talk to, so it's... Okay, cool. Thank you. Our spiritual life is not separate from our regular life. That's what I'm trying to say here. And that if we choose to see it like that, then every opportunity in our life becomes a moment where we can infuse more love and more presence, and we can release the small self and release the ego. So something that I wanted to share today is, and I think people can, I definitely resonate with this. I'm someone who like traveled the world and chased everything in order to find myself or to like find the soul. And Mickey Singer said something yesterday, like, you're looking for yourself, like, where are you going to find it? Underneath the couch? And I was like, that's funny. Because we are a soul. We don't we don't have a soul, like we have a body and we are a soul. We have a mind, but we are a soul. And that's kind of a hard thing to grasp when we've been taught all along. Like, I am my body, I am my race, I am my gender, I am these things, I am all the roles I play, I am my stories, I am my lifetime so far. I am this culture and all the things that we identify with, right? So it can be really difficult in the beginning to be like, whoa, someone's trying to tell me that I'm not any of those things that I've been, and they're not telling me who I am if I'm not those. So starting to get curious about who you are beyond the labels is such an important step. In living a life that is less stressful, living a life that is less triggered, living a life that is less conditional or motivated by like a private agenda. So we're going to meditate here in a second, but the one major point that I wanted to make is that the reason we search for certain things, like we we have a drink, or we get a boyfriend, or we go on that amazing trip, or we log onto our Instagram, is that we're looking to be okay. We are trying to find a way to feel okay, and then also to feel like liberated and free. We're looking to feel happy and purposeful. And we do that through like low functioning things, but the real way is that we connect back to who we are. And we start to get the things out of us that are making us not okay. So this is the thing, we're usually not okay. I'm stressed out, I'm triggered, whatever it is. I'm discontent, I'm dissatisfied, I'm depressed, I'm anxious. And instead of recognizing what is in me that is causing that, we're trained to go, I'm going to reach outside of me to fix it, aka put a Band-Aid on it, right? Versus slowing down and recognizing the world isn't dissatisfactory. I am. I'm seeing the world and I'm dissatisfied, which means I'm dissatisfied. The world isn't doing anything. The world is impersonal, right? But I come to the table and I go, I don't like this. I hate this. I'm feeling anxious. Which means that I haven't let go of something from my past that's making me angry, resentful, judgmental. And so through a spiritual practice, through a meditation practice, through self-awareness, self-realization, we're trying to realize what is in me that is causing me to be all of these things and bring that into these situations. Because God knows, and we all know, that we can't actually go to a situation and change anyone else. Anyone tried to do that before? Like, I know, I hate this situation, I'm going to change them. How well does that work? I've never been able to do it. Usually people hate that if I try to change them. The reality is that when we realize that our spiritual practices every moment of our life, we flip the script and we stop trying to change the world outside of us and we start changing ourselves, right? And it is not an easy like pill to swallow in the beginning, to recognize that any moment that we don't like is because of us. It'd be so much easier to just be like, it's them. You know, like, it's them. Like, they're fucking up. But it's not, actually. I'm in charge of myself and what I bring to the table and every moment of my life. And Course in Miracles teaches that literally the miracle of life is when we have the ability to change ourself back to a place of love. Because it would be so much easier to hold on to the resentment, to the judgment, and to continue to create stress. So something else Mickey Singer said is like, stress is when you're building a building and there's like a metal like rod, we test like the stress of it. Yeah, you can't blame the world. We're testing the stress of the like rod holding up the building, is like we're testing the resistance, right? So if you're feeling extra stressed in your life, it's because we're resisting life. Life's trying to do something, and we're going, no, I want it this particular way. No, I think other people are wrong. No, I'm right. My ego has come in and goes, I'm the only thing that's important here, and I'm not willing to surrender that and come back to a place of recognizing that life probably has like a bigger, better plan than my tiny little self, right? All I can see is like this screen right now. Think about just for a second, all the moments that are happening in the world. All over the globe. Something I like to think about. I don't know if you've ever been to a waterfall, but imagine how many waterfalls. They're really powerful and really humbling to be at. And I remember the first time I went to one, I just thought, this is flowing all the time, this waterfall. All the time. Even when I'm not here, it's flowing. Think about how many waterfalls are on the planet right now, just, and I'm not noticing them. All I can see is this tiny little screen, right? There's so much going on in the world, and we get this tiny little blip. So to think that all of life has to do with my personal preferences is a bit of a misstep. And when I can start to surrender my personal preferences and start to recognize that there's a flow of life moving through me that's guiding me, it's also a flow of life moving through every other living being, through all of the world, creating the world billions of years ago, before we got here. I wasn't in control of my grandparents' meeting, great-grandparents' meeting, parents' meeting, none of that, and I'm here. So what makes me think I need to be the general manager of the universe now? just my small self, right? My personal preferences. But when we come back to the seat of self and recognize, oh, it's my job to unpack the things that are causing me to be a resentful, judgmental, constricted, stressed out human, then I can start to enter into each situation of my life with more presence and with more of an ability to listen to. Something that I notice right now is that our ability to move our own self out of the way and unpack our personal, like, emotional backpack really gives us the opportunity to show up into a hard conversation, into the place of healing and service, into a place of parenthood, into friendship, with less emotional triggers for someone else to hit. It's like almost impossible to not hit someone's tight spots anymore. And so one mission for me is to just totally excavate my own personal tight spots so that the likelihood of a combustion or some sort of division is less likely to happen. What if I can just get rid of my own personal preferences that are pushing me away from this person who's trying to explain the reality to me, right? Okay, so I hope this is making sense. Spiritual practice is every moment of our life, especially in a hard conversation. These are the points here. You don't have to find yourself. You don't have to find the soul. You are the soul. What we have to do is uncover the soul of all the crap that we've experienced in our life that we're holding on to. Feel pain when we're 8 years old, and instead of just moving through it and allowing it to move through our body, we are holding on to that pain and choosing to project it onto everyone else I see now when the moment is gone, right? So we release it and don't pack the pain, pack the fear, pack the shame, guilt into our system. Otherwise, we become a shame, fear, guilt-ridden human walking through the world, right? Okay, so we unpack those things, and then we start to become a person that is okay, just inwardly okay. And when I'm okay inside, I don't need other people to make me okay, right? So when we start to take our life back, take responsibility for ourselves through meditation, through a lifestyle that's self-aware, we start to get rid of the things that are making me not okay. And then my expectation of others can just, I don't need this drink to make me okay. I don't need that boyfriend to make me okay. I don't need that approval to make me okay. I don't need that trip to make me okay. I am okay. And not even just okay, but I am content, I'm grateful, and peaceful, because I have gotten rid of the things inside of me that were making me otherwise. When we can do that, our front of our body can soften, and we can enter into situations with so much more love and grace, because the expectation of needing this person to be exactly like I want, or needing the situation to do exactly what I want it to, has released, and I can trust. Okay. Off to a little bit of a chaotic start, but hopefully you guys are still here with me. We're going to meditate for a moment. Anyone have any questions on that? It's hard to only have my face here. You are a soul. Spiritual practice is learning how to be okay from the inside so that we don't have to seek other things that'll make us okay. The stress of our life is when we are fighting against life. And we have the opportunity to release that if we'd like. Any questions? You guys still with me? See some of you on here. Give me a thumbs up if you're still here. It's a pretty grand topic, but I can shove it into a couple minutes. So through the practice of meditation, little cues on meditation. No one meditates with a totally clear mind. Okay, awesome. You guys are here. Hey, Mia. I didn't see you on here. Meditation isn't just sitting down and going, I'm going to think about nothing for 15 minutes. That does not happen. So if you're thinking that that's what it is, I give you full permission to have it not be that anymore. Meditation is choosing to sit with ourselves presently, to get curious about what's happening for us. And it's an opportunity to take the mind, which can either be our best friend or our worst enemy, and to train it. I like to say, we're training it like a puppy. If you've ever had a puppy, you train it to go outside and go pee. And then you give it a treat. Yes, okay. You train it to go back out. You train it to go back out. Train it to go back out. If you've ever been in a yoga class and you just recognize how many times the teacher has to say to breathe again, and every time you're like, damn it, how did I forget to breathe? I'm in here breathing, and 30 seconds went by, 2 seconds went by, and I forgot to breathe. So when we sit down to meditate, one, we become still. So typically all the things we're running from / all the things we're running from inside of us might boil up. So we stay present with ourselves. We start to breathe, which is our anchor back to the present moment, right? We can't be present if we're not breathing, we're not aware of our breath. And we have a compassionate, curious lens on what's happening in the mind, what's happening in the body. And we kind of scoot back and watch ourselves in a way of holding space for what is, getting curious about where it came from, and choosing to release the tension within us, exhaling it out of our mouth, placing the hand on the body and coming back to a place of safety and security. Because oftentimes what comes up for us, we resist it because we're afraid to let it move through us completely. So when we sit down to meditate, it's not about being completely quiet. It's about coming to a place of self-awareness through the breath and through stillness, so that I can start to watch the tendencies of the mind. And they change every day, they change every week, every month, based on what we've collected in our system, right? So if we show up for a meditation practice every single day, even if it's the weekend, a little bit of time to sit down and watch, who am I and what am I storing? We have an opportunity to release the things that might be motivating our life to be, because like what we've stored in our body literally become the engines that push us forward. So if we're unaware of what those stores are, we could be like, our life could be moving with like a resentment motor or like a judgment motor, or a fear motor. Or we can sit with ourselves and recognize, I'm going to allow the motive of my life to not be about me, to not be about my gratification, but to be more one in alignment with my higher purpose, which is service and love, appreciation of others, gratitude, deep soulful fulfillment, right? And we can't do that if we don't get quiet and sit with ourselves, and it's not easy at first, especially for those of us that are over-functioners. Me. It is not easy. I will either be forced to do this at some point, or we can choose to do it. I was forced to do it in the beginning based off the experiences that I had, and there was nothing I could do but sit still. But I have learned to love it because it gives me an opportunity to be aware of myself in a way that I couldn't be if I just sped through my morning and sped through my life. Okay, so this is meditation. So find a comfortable seat if you can, or even if you're just listening, that's fine, but I'd love if you tried. So come to a comfortable seat. I like to sit on something so that I'm not super uncomfortable. It does make us more spiritual if we are suffering. Another talk for another day. We're allowed to be more comfortable. So just take a deep breath in and close your eyes through the nose and out the mouth. One more time, in the nose. Biggest breath you've taken today. Let it fill every cell of your body. Exhale. And then we'll just close the lips, breathe in and out of the nose. Bring your hands to your knees. You can place the palms up or the palms down. If they're down, it'll kind of close off the energy to the body and let it circulate. If they're up, place them in a mudra of receiving. So the palms up can receive. We have thousands of little heart chakras in our hands. So bringing in. And every time I meditate, I connect to the breath. Notice how the breath is my connection to the outer environment. So I'm bringing in air. I'm bringing in the environment, the atmosphere into my body. And then I'm exchanging and giving back the atmosphere through my body and outside. Do that a couple times. Being aware of how the air that you are breathing has been breathed by many others before you and will be breathed by others after you. It's our connection to each other, connection to Mother Earth. And we'll just become aware of the mind. So the mind is probably already trying to pull you off to something else. Maybe, oh, this is boring, I want to be here. And I just want you to notice where the mind is other than inside your body. So breathe to just notice, what is it that your mind is saying? That's more important, that's more important, that's more important. And then as you inhale and exhale, I want you to convince yourself, tell yourself that this moment is the most important. Being inside your body completely is most important. Following the complete inhale and the complete exhale is most important. What if we knew that this breath was our last breath? Would we find it important? Would we release our desire to rush? We start to get more curious, more present, more slow-paced, more absorbed into the present moment. And we have to continue to do that. So if the mind runs off, come back to the breath, following it in and out. And then let's just bring awareness to the body. So notice the base of your body. Notice that you are sitting on top of a planet and there's a gravitational pull to the core of the earth holding your body here. Feeling deep gratitude for that anchoring force, for that centering. And as if like a wave of relaxation kind of went from the top of the head down to the base of the body, soften your nervous system, trusting that the earth has literally come up to hold you here and that you can relax the collarbones. You can relax the upper part of the belly, lower part of the belly, even release the stress that might be in your knees. Breathe and soften. Relax the heads of the shoulders. Let your arms get heavy. Relax the toes, the fingertips. Allow your spine to be tall, but the rest of your body to be soft and receptive. We'll place one hand on the low belly, one hand on the heart if that feels good, and tune in to the breath, heartbeat, circulation, present moment. Watching the mind again. Where does it go when it wanders? And can we teach and train the mind through this practice that our body in this moment is the most important one to live in? The mind deeply wants to run to the past or to the future, but the heart and the soul knows that the magic of life exists here. We cannot experience love outside of this body. This is where love happens. You cannot experience healing, joy, sadness, inspiration, guidance in the past or the future. The vibrancy, the radiance, the connection, the lived moments of our life happen in this moment inside of our body. So if we want more of any of those things, joy, abundance, inspiration, motivation, conviction, integrity, the only thing we actually have to do is become present. This is where it happens. If I'm looking for guidance, I don't go ahead, I don't go backwards, I come within. I teach my mind to be with my breath. I teach my heart to be with my body, with my mind. And then just recognize for a moment while we're here and we're breathing, the magic that's happening beneath your hands. And that within us, maybe even tucking the chin down a tiny bit as if to come inward a little bit, beneath the hand that's on the heart, even if it's just for a flicker of time, there is a moment of peace. In this moment, your life is peaceful. You can anchor to a place of peace, place of connection. And this peace is present always within you, even if the outside world is complete chaos. There are always two simultaneous realities taking place. There is this moment inside of us that we're present with, and there is the outside world. what we carry inside of us is so important. We affect the outside world. So coming to a place of peace, connection, love, service, humility, gratitude within us, first and foremost. Brings our vibration to a different place, our frequency to a different place, and therefore affects the world around us in a very different way. We choose what happens internally by what we hold on to and what we let go of. We choose who we are by everything we do every day. So just come up with what it is that we need a little bit more of today. Maybe it's peace, centering, grounding, ease. And just breathe that in. I can breathe peace. I can infuse my breath with a certain mood, and that breath affects my body, and the state of my body affects my mind. So the way I breathe influences the way I move through the world and the way I experience my life. Three more deep breaths, no rushing, as if it were the last 3 breaths you got. In through the nose, out through the mouth. And gently bring ourselves back. Deep appreciation for what lies within us, even if we go most of our life without noticing the soul within us, the sacredness that flows within our body, that brings life to our body, brings life to every body. So often goes unnoticed, but it is steady and it is there, just waiting for us to turn towards it and to nourish that part of who we are, to fan that flame. And just, to recognize that when we become still, when we put effort in towards looking into kind of the parts of ourself, the stored areas, the judgment, the shit that we've held on to through our lives, the ego can come up and tell us that we don't want to let go of that stuff, right? So just be, curious and compassionate with ourselves about what we have held on to up until this point, because I do believe things stay with us till they teach us what we need to know. But eventually, we have to call on the higher aspect of who we are to have the courage to let go of the things that we've identified with for a really long time. Holding a grudge against someone, or a belief or a state of mind or a story that we've told that really is limiting, but we've identified with it, right? So when we sit down to meditate, a lot of things can come up and the mind can tell us, like, no, fuck that. I am not letting go of that, right? Like, I want to identify with this pain. But eventually we realize that when we do that, it's only harming ourselves. And we just slowly chip away. It's like, what would it be like if I let this go? What would it be like if I let this go? How much freedom could I feel in my body? How much more could I serve the world if I let this go? And recognize that then you will be more connected to spirit. You will be more guided by life. You will be more vital. But it is a little scary. So I say that to bring awareness to the resistance that the mind will bring us. Like, fuck that. I'm literally not going to let that go. I know I've done that with many stories in my life. Especially if it means that I have to admit my participation in something. And so there's a very powerful or an empowering part of that is the admission of like, wow, I participated in that. Yeah, so I hope that that's useful for you, and I apologize for the chaotic start in the beginning, but yeah, if you listened all the way through, super appreciative. I'm going to do a Q&A later this week, so if you have any questions around mindset, yoga, spirituality, like applied spirituality, hi Tony, how to get over the mind, how to live a more connected life, how to let go of the small self and who we are after we let go of that. I think that's a big fear too, is like, who the fuck am I if I'm not these stories, right? If we don't know who we are from a spiritual perspective, it can be really terrifying. So please, I appreciate you all being here. Yay, thank you. I'm going to do my best to do these more often, and that will segue into next year I'm launching a community-based sisterhood for people to continue to do this together, so I'm really excited about that. And I'm going to try to save this. So yeah, send me any questions you might have. Thanks, Linz. Love you all. Have a great day. Bye, Taylor. Love ya.